It's time to become the best version of yourself and help others do the same. It's Monday morning and we're talking success.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be with you this Monday morning, January 27th. Really excited to introduce to you, to some of you who are here for the first time, to a wonderful guest who knows a lot about success. And I think you could look at her and say, wow, success just comes easy to her. But I think she's going to share with you, it maybe wasn't necessarily always that way. She's an amazing person. I'll say it this way, just like you and me, with all the normal fears and dreams. But I think she has something worth listening to this morning on Talking Success. And that's why we've asked her to come, and she's been so kind as to spend some time with us. Before we go any bit further, a couple of shout outs as I see a bunch of you on. I love all the chatting that you're doing already. Shout out to Dolores and Osvaldo and Anita and Rosanna and Lydia, Corinne and my great friend of over, I'm not going to tell you how many years, Denise Norbit. Denise and I know each other for a lot of years, but you'll start doing math and then you kind of will guess our ages, so I'm not going to say it. And Corinne and Eric Patterson, good morning to you. Lisa, Kristen, Alvaro, Valerie, thanks for chatting in. It makes so much difference. I love the technology. We love being able to reach out together. Wish we could see everybody. Wish I could see you like you're seeing me, so we could just sit and talk. But I kind of can when you chat in. So if you haven't chatted in, if you're on your phone or wherever you are, just chat in, say hello. Oh, Jenny Marcano, shout out to Jenny. That's Jenny's a ray of sunshine, I will tell you, if you don't know her. And Gwen, how you doing, Gwen? Tiffany, so many of you. I'm going to miss some of you, and I shouldn't, but see, Jordan has invited me to jump in and participate with him on Talking Success, so I get a chance to connect with more of you. That is the part of soul that makes that enters our hearts. That makes us do what we do, and is the reason we founded Soul the way we did. We know there's a lot changing in technology, and there are a lot of good technological tools that, in fact, we'll talk about one of them today, that we want to give you more access to. But at the same time, technology is only the wonder that it is if there are people tied to it. That's how we feel, and that's how we lift each other. And I think the community, the success community at Soul, which is all about helping you find what you're looking to find and reach what you're looking to reach, feel comfortable and safe in your dreams, and feel support. The journey's always, no matter what we're engaged in, the journey's always full of, I think, successes and setbacks. And the setbacks they're not failures as long as we keep moving forward and we've got a community together. Then they actually make us stronger. So we do, I'm looking at, Valerie says, you love our Soul family. We feel that way about all you. And so thanks for joining us here this morning. We have not too much time, so without further ado, let's see, we're going to give away here. And I think we do that toward the end, as I remember. I'm a little bit newbie to Talking Success. But this is in honor of our friends in Florida and Texas, Louisiana, who have more snow on the ground than we do. This Soul beanie, I love these. They're long enough you can pull them down or you can fold them up. So we're going to give away a Soul beanie this time of year, especially for Florida and Texas. Who'd have thought? And Louisiana. Who'd have thought that's where the beanies are needed? And then we're going to also give away the famous frother. It's famous because it's a soul frother, and what you're frothing can change your life. And you know what? That shows. I was sitting on a Zoom Thursday night and listening to a woman tell us her story. It was not an easy story to listen to. In fact, it's a little graphic. So I'm not going to say everything she said just because it's Monday morning. It's early. But I will tell you, her health journey was so serious. She was reached out to about participating in a medical study to help fix the problem, which they had been trying to address. and just weren't having results with. But there was something new coming along. And so part of her being able to participate in the study was this qualification period of 3 months. And it just so happens, I'm not one that believes in coincidences. I believe that there's purpose and opportunity behind all the occurrences in our life. And she met up with someone from Soul Naturals right at the time when she's about to enter into this, or at least see if she's pre-qualified to be part of this study. Well, what happens is that she starts a nutrition program with Soul and feels such a difference because she'd been dealing for years with her issue. Part of the side effect, the consequence of her issue is that she could not ever get through a night sleeping. There was always multiple interruptions to her sleep. And so some weeks into her soul, it was weeks into her soul journey, she wakes up one morning and says, I slept through the night. She couldn't remember how many years it had been. And she just felt rested today. I feel like I have energy. So she started to see these changes. And a long story short, when she recorded her, so she wasn't on live. She recorded, just point the iPhone at her face, record it, and she sent it to the leader who operates and organizes this Thursday night Zoom. And she said that I just got my results back, the final results. Part of the results were a medical test where they would determine, I think that was the final test needed to determine could she be in this study. Well, the person who called her back said, I have some good news and some bad news for you. He said, first of all, the good news, this condition, this serious condition you had, there's no evidence of it. You don't have it anymore. That's the good news. The bad news is you can't be in the study. So she was so bouncy, so full of life, so beaming. Just listening to her talk, I just felt inspired. Her victory inspired all of us. And to me, that's the success community in Soul. Now, this is not an odd occurrence to hear a story like this, and yet her story was special. But I think everyone's journey is life-changing, not just for them, but for the people who hear it. And I think that was her hope, and her reason for recording it and allowing that to be aired in this Zoom was in hopes that someone else in a situation like hers or another situation where they could draw some parallels to it or even just get some hope from it. She agreed to record it and send it in. And she just looked so happy. So that to me is what I wanted to start out sharing today. I get the privilege of hearing these every week. In this particular Zoom, there are 4 or 5 testimonials given. I would say half of them recorded and played. And then every few weeks, it's usually not more than a few weeks, there is one like that is so major that you almost just cannot stop smiling. It's usually the end of the day, Utah time. It's about 8:30 p.m. when I'm getting done off that. And as I'm driving home, I'm smiling the whole way home. And a lot of times I'll tell Donna when I get home, you want to know what was just shared? She probably gets tired of hearing all those. She doesn't really get tired hearing all the recordings, but she gets a lot of them. And I wanted to share that with you, hoping that if you're helping someone else or if you yourself are working on something, that you can get a little bit of inspiration from that as well, just as it did for me. Okay, so unfortunately, Dolores says, where can I find that recording? It's in Spanish. That's what I was going to tell you. This particular one's in Spanish. So I'm sharing it with you in English today. But I can tell you more, Dolores. If you want more facts about it, I'd be happy to just send me a text and we'll talk. Okay, before we get on with our special guest for today, I just have one piece of recognition we'd like to offer. We want to give a shout out to our Quiz Whiz Success Key. I love this Success Key. Remember, Success Keys are things that look like small, simple things that make all the difference. And the Quiz Whiz is one. Quiz Whiz are simply people who share the stress quiz, which is a link that everyone who has a Soul account has on their account. And the link can simply be shared, and a person is able to answer 25 simple questions. You're talking 5 minutes of their time, and open into their life and begin in their life what I would call a crucial conversation. I'm borrowing that phrase from a book I read a few years ago, and I want to come back to that. But first, let's recognize people who have used this important quiz and this simple yet powerful key in multiples this past month. So these are people, they haven't just sent one, they've sent multiple, and they've had multiple people respond and take that little bit of time, get that insight into their health and their stress resiliency. So let's give a big shout out to Chris DeVilliers, Corinne Lott, Eric Patterson, Tammy Peterson, who, by the way, is our special guest this morning, Tammy Peterson, Michelle Randall, Lydia Ferrantino, Lisa Kanapke, and Jordana Espinosa. These quiz whizzes, they shared more than, in just the last 3 weeks, they've shared it multiple times and had people respond. This is something really easy that we all can do. Let me just say 2 things about this quiz. It is so powerful because first, it prompts what I would call a crucial conversation. And second, because the only thing it asks in return is a person give their email. And that email then enters your list as a brand specialist, someone that you can connect to that has someone to work with to have success in their life, both with their health and if they desire to build a soul business. But it can be either way or both. That's why I love the stress quiz. It is a universal tool. It is simple for everyone to do, or it takes something that could be more complicated and it makes it simple. And it leaves you with a concrete list, a person's name, a friend's name on your reports at Soul. And I would submit that with all this technology and all the amazing development that's happening and that will continue to happen, ways in which we stay connected with people, and that starts with having their names and them having our name, that provides for a way that we can always bring community and bring support to life. That's why I love the stress quiz. Now, I mentioned the second thing about it is that the stress quiz is a crucial conversation. Years ago, I had a book that someone gave me, and I've got it in my library. The book is called Crucial Conversations, written by 4 different authors, I believe 4 of them. And they say that crucial conversations in life are those conversations that have 3 characteristics. 1, emotions can be high. 2, the stakes can be high. What's at stake? What hangs in the balance is important. So a lot of emotion, something important that hangs in the balance. And the third characteristic of a crucial conversation is that people have differing opinions. It's not something where we all view it the same. I really gravitated to that book because I felt that the industry that we're in, healing through natural means and mentoring people, connecting with people, providing community for people, those 2 things, okay, the community and the natural health, they absolutely are crucial conversations. There are a lot of opinions about it. The stakes are high. Our health is gained and deteriorates through tiny baby steps every day. That's how it changes, through those baby steps every day, upward or downward. And people have a lot of opinions about how you maintain that and what you do. And it's not always a subject people are comfortable talking about. Emotions can be really high when you're dealing with something that is really interrupting your life or maybe scares you. I do think that coming back to the quiz now, the stress quiz at Soul, why it's such a key is that it, in a really comfortable way and a way that's all sort of packaged up and ready to share with a link, makes a crucial conversation, which can be hard, into an easy conversation with a lot of information and a lot of guidance through just 5 minutes of someone filling out questions according to their best view of themselves and sharing that with someone else because of the results coming to the people that we just honored today who do this. They know this. You can click and see the results of anyone taking the quiz. So that's our little plug today about the Quiz Whiz, and it actually is a really great coincidence that one of our great quiz whizzes is our guest today, Tammy Peterson. Let's bring Tammy on now. I want to welcome you, Tammy. Thanks for being here from snowy Houston, Texas. Well, it's not snowing right now.
Crazy. No, not anymore. Last week this time.
Yeah, last week. Okay, you're recovering some. Okay, so Tammy, just to start out, I wrote down a few questions. We had a brief conversation, everyone. Tammy is someone, let me just tell you a couple things about her, and forgive me, Tammy, if I don't want to embarrass you, okay? But I also feel like people need to see you and get to know you. Tammy is one of the leaders who, to me, makes it look easy, and I thought, oh, Tammy's just always been really good at this. Okay, that's just one thing because she makes it look easy. She is what I would call, well, I said this last time with Anita Carpenter, that on certain soul metrics, she punches above her weight. It's like a prize fighter terminology. Tammy's this way too with the mentor bonus. Now, just to remind you, the mentor bonus is a reflection. It's another bonus that's a reflection of reorders. People, how well are people staying on nutrition? So Tammy, you know this. I don't know if you think about it a lot, but you basically double your soul-driven car bonus. You double it because your mentor bonus is the same, or roughly, right in there, roughly the same. So you've got this other bonus that is significant enough that it actually, I think usually people, their heads start to perk up with the soul-driven bonus, and your mentor bonus is that big, and that's a reflection for certain on you and the way. So and the way that you work with people and the way you operate your business. So there's a couple things about Tammy. Tammy's frequently highlighted in a number of different areas of sharing. So she does, again, to me, it looks really easy. It looks easy to me how Tammy reaches out and connects with people and makes friends. So with that intro, let me just ask you, okay, Tammy, what to you are some of the keys for how you speak with people and you get them to really stick with their nutrition? How is it that you operate with people and you get this result where they at a very high level, they continue with their nutrition?
Well, thanks for all that. I feel like it all has to do with the verbiage that you start with, that you set it up with. First of all, I'm on a lot of Facebook markets and I'm always excited about soul, which comes from the heart. So the way they hear soul is with excitement, like, you guys need this, which they do. Everybody does. And one thing I've found over the years with a few of my specialists that I saw was when you lead with negativity, like, I know you probably can't afford this, or this is probably too much for you. In their mind, automatically, that's what's going to stick. So I lead with, you need this no matter what. And with how it's helped me. So in their head, it's always a positive. It's not a negative, because that's what will stick, and they will be like, yeah, I can't afford it. Or, I've got all these other supplements. So I just think the verbiage you use from the beginning includes some of the things might be, something that they say is a negative, and get it out of the way from the beginning.
Hey, I love that, Tammy. And so interesting. You actually started off with, you're excited and it comes from the heart. So, going back to this book, Crucial Conversations, it's interesting. They talk about 7 ways that you navigate what they would call a crucial conversation. It's a little different in their book, but I'm applying it to soul and helping someone with their health, because to me it is that crucial. Their number one step is heart. They said exactly what you said, is that if you don't start with heart, nothing else will matter of your techniques or your skills or the system or your storytelling. And they say these things are important, like being really good at, because I look at you as, you're really good at talking about it, even just right there. I see the verbiage, and you mentioned this the other day when you and I talked. I see the verbiage, you put it in practice. Pretty much about whenever we've had conversations, I always leave them feeling, oh, I'm like a degree happier. I talked with Tammy, and I'm just like, that notch happier. So it does reflect. Okay, now you mentioned verbiage, and I love that. Tammy, you said something else. You said, when you talked to me before, you said, aside from the verbiage, really watching our verbiage, you said lead more with unlimiting types of statements, statements that don't bring any limits. Can you tell me a little bit more about like how you look at that?
Well, just like what I was saying a second ago is that if you set a limit for them in their brain, it automatically will set a limit for themselves. So um, they may feel like they've tried everything, or they may feel like um, this is too much for them. This is too many products. But if you just lead with the fact that, our stuff works together, it's combined for a reason. There's synergy so that it can help you with your mind and body. If you just lead with the positivity that will take away their limiting beliefs or thoughts from the beginning, then you don't have to overcome it later. So, like when you get the products in and they're like, there's 5 products. I'm saying this is like, let's say you get them the perfect package. You're right. We can combine them. I've got really cool, easy ways to drink them. I'm going to take the hard part out of it for you and help you make this easy breezy. So that way, in their minds already, I've uh, conquered a reply that might be negative on their part.
I love that. So like you take care of any kind of limitation of price by not placing those limiting and also number of products. And then it sounds like you also, if they're doing, if they'll venture for a program, you're going to cover this. Hey, I know they might think it's a lot of products. I'm going to show you how you can combine this and make it even simpler and still get all that nutrition in you. So like just different. So did those things come quick to you? Like, is this something over time you watched it and went, I see people doing this. I'm making this adjustment. Was it something that, and did it take you a lot of time to get there? Or do you feel like this was something like, no, I think that happened pretty early on. I saw that.
No, no, it happened trial and error, of course. I think when we established like a weight loss program, one thing that I started seeing was there are people that are quick fix people, and that's for the most part what we deal with. So if you can let them know from the beginning, this is a holistic approach. Then I had a specialist that was amazing to watch her. She could have one person at a party, and her way of handling it, she walked away with everything in their cart because she was just like, I don't care what you just said. Like, you go to Starbucks every day of the week, you can afford this. This means your life. So I learned from her. Everybody knows who she is, but I loved her approach. And it took me a while to realize if I can head it off at the pass, I don't have to deal with it later. Because I told them, hey, you might not like the flavor of this at first, but I've got ways that you will. Then when they get it and they're like, oh, she's right, I didn't. Okay, what was it that she said? What was the recipe? So it's
Yeah.
really helped me over time, trial and error, kind of.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so here's my next question, Tammy. So what are the different ways that you connect with people? Because you make it look easy to me. So when you're connecting with new people, where does most of that happen with you, or typically?
Well, for sure, social media has been since 2020 when everybody was sitting at home. I just started talking, and um, at first I remember there was not much interest. There might be a question or two. But within a couple of months, not only were people opening up to me, but then they were sending me their friends. So now in people's minds, they remember, okay, Tammy was talking about something with anxiety, and let me see what she says. So they'll circle back around. Now, because I've done this in like real life for 11 years, and anytime someone's talking to me, I kind of make it like tongue in cheek, like, I've got something for that. So now they remember, okay, let me call Tammy because I know that she does soul because they all know it now. And I don't do it like, a used car salesman. It's just kind of who I am. So now when they've got an issue, they just know, okay, Tammy's got something for that. So in real life, I'll do that. If I see something on social media where somebody's struggling, I might DM them and say, hey, look, I just want you to know I've seen lots of my friends and clients get relief from XYZ. How would you feel if I sent you some information? So it's kind of all over the map. I'll do stories and reels, and um, it may look like nobody hears me, but then it pays off, a couple weeks later when someone's like, I need your help. So in real life and on social media.
So they're like, so like there's a typically of what I'm hearing, one of the things I'm hearing you say, we have to understand that there's a lag kind of often when you share something or post something or
Mhm.
say something even, it might be weeks. And then all of a sudden, hey, you said this. So someone reaches out, huh?
Well, you know what? I think that was one of the things I learned when I started social media was not to be discouraged when your results were not instant. And I was taught that in a social media class that it takes 8 touches before someone will listen to you. Well, it takes way more than that on social media. Honestly, now they're saying like 20. So I put that in the back of my mind, and I never allowed myself to think, "Ugh, well, nobody's listening," and get discouraged by it. I just kept going, and it paid off. And I've watched other people on social media selling different things, and that's their biggest, to me, mistake is that they give up when they don't get an immediate aha moment from people. It's just not going to happen, and you'll get discouraged and you'll give up on the products yourself. So just keep in mind, people are watching and people are listening. It just may take them a little bit of time for it to resonate with them.
Okay, so that brings me to another question that came into my mind last time we talked. Because again, I mean, I keep harping on how easy you make it look, Tammy, but I know it wasn't easy for you to get there, and you told me that like 2 or 3 times. So, like you said, I wrote a note here. You're like, I had to overcome the fear of people and fear online. Okay, how did you overcome fear of people and fear online?
Was so hard. Right at the beginning, my mentor Michelle says, make a couple of videos. So I did. I made like 7 videos. They were all about 5 minutes each. Now, if I made them again, they would be 90 seconds each. And I started posting them. And I started posting them privately, but then when I started posting them publicly and being all over social media, what you have to prepare yourself for is your friends saying negative things or kind of tongue in cheek laughing at you, or, oh, yeah, you're going to be on social media, whatever. I had to just turn that voice down in my head and just reply like, well, it works. So, and I've got a ton of customers that are getting help, and it's helped so many people. So I had to really, really, because I do have fear of man that way. You know, when you see me, it may seem like I don't, but I do. And so I had to pretend like when I'm talking into the camera, because I'm usually looking at myself, I am talking to my best friend. And what would appeal to my best friend? I had to really drown out the voices in my head that were, but Tammy, your face doesn't look good. Your makeup's not good. That color's not good. What about your hair? What are they going to say about you? What are they going to think about you? I could not do any of that, and it really paid off. But it was not easy. That was the biggest hurdle for me.
Okay, so now when you post something now, how much of those voices are still there, or are they all gone? Have you like, would you feel like, look, I've moved past that, or do you from time to time still get, those voices?
They're not there. I in my head now, I just don't care because I've been able to help so many people and it paid off. Um, it took a while. I think I told you, like my first live I ever did, I got off and I could not feel my face. Like it was
Yeah.
numb.
Yeah.
I was so nervous. I was flushed. That just doesn't happen anymore. I mean, I'll still go back and look and think, oh, you look like a hot mess. Or, I mean, the vanity is still there of like seeing myself live. So I have a hard time listening to myself. But I do like to go back and hear so I can make myself feel better. I can make myself present better. but I just really have drowned out the voices. I'm here to help people, and people have gotten help. So now, if people say anything, which is very rare, oh well, you're missing out. And at some point, you're circling back around, and I'm going to help you too.
Oh, that's so awesome, Tammy. Okay, I just get so excited. We've spent our time this morning. We got to have you on another time in the future. We've got lots of people coming on. We'll have to circle back. I love these conversations. Before we end, Tammy, and we got to do our drawings and we'll end today. But I want to give you one more chance. You know, just thinking about it today or this morning, is there anything else that you'd like to tell someone who's kind of just starting that, that soul journey? Anything else you want them to know that we haven't talked about this morning?
Well, just be convinced that soul works, because it does. In 11 years, I've had maybe 3 things sent back, maybe 4. And it was, again, because maybe I didn't set it up right, like I didn't say, look, this is going to take time or whatever. But just, people need this. People truly need help. And no matter what comes up against you, because we all have life get in the way. We're going to have our ups and downs, for our business especially. Soul is something valuable, and it can be life changing. So when you've got something that important, share it with others, because they need it. And whatever else it takes, just do it, because it's important to get in people's hands, and it does work. We've seen it over and over again. Rarely have any of us on here ever had someone say they don't feel something, because they do, and that's worth sharing, I think, with everybody.
Awesome, Tammy. Thank you so much. Thanks again for
Thank you for
spending your time with us this morning, for being on Talking Success. I think it's been super valuable. Let's do our drawings
Thank you,
as
Greg.
we end today, and we'll thank Tammy once again. Let me just say one thing as we do our drawings. We talked about the quiz today. We have done a number of refinements to the stress quiz, and so be looking here in the next couple of weeks as we announce some new opportunities with the stress quiz that we have integrated into it. So be on the lookout. We'll be sending you notification of that. All right, so we're drawing here. Thanks for all your chats in here. It's a great conversation. You guys are all so supportive. Okay, and so first of all, we're going to go with the beanie, and it's Dolores Ancona. Dolores, you just won yourself a beanie. So, I know you got 10 inches last week down in Lafayette, so you shouldn't have that, but now you got a beanie. All right, and our next one, let's do the frother. And our next one is Kristen Brunius. Kristen, well done. I think you won before, Kristen, but I know you'll put this to good use. All right, and then finally we've got our soul shaker, our transparent soul shaker, and it is Denise Norbit. So Denise, you got yourself another soul shaker. Glad you guys were on today, and thank you everyone for your comments. Next week, Jordan will be back, and I think he has already chosen his special guest. You're going to want to hear what she has to say, but I think every week it's absolutely phenomenal. So thanks everybody. We'll see you soon. Keep sharing soul, as Jordan says.